She runs like the forest itself is chasing her. Snow slams into her face, sharp and unforgiving, stealing her breath with every step. Her lungs burn, her legs scream, but she doesn't slow down. Not when the ground beneath her boots is slick with ice. Not when pain pulses hot and wet along her side, where blood soaks through torn fabric. Every step feels like a gamble. Every breath feels borrowed. The wind howls through the trees, wild and cruel, and it sounds like voices, accusing, judging, like the forest knows what she is and wants her gone. Snow whips against her skin, stinging like rejection she's felt before, deeper than any wound. She stumbles, catches herself on a low branch, and the bark scrapes her palm raw. She doesn't stop. She can't. Something flares beneath her skin, silver light, sharp and alive. It flickers along her veins like lightning trapped under flesh, glowing just enough to light the ground ahead of her in quick, broken flashes. Fear fuels it, anger feeds it. The more terrified she becomes, the brighter it pulses, like it's begging to be unleashed. The forest reacts. Trees groan and sway, branches creaking like old bones. Ice fractures beneath her feet with a sound too loud, too final. Shadows shift where they shouldn't, stretching and recoiling as if they're watching her run, as if they're waiting to see whether she'll fall. A howl cuts through the storm. Low, close. Another answers it, then another. Her heart slams against her ribs. The scent of blood, her blood, hangs heavy in the air, carried by the wind straight to whatever hunts her. She knows that sound, knows what's chasing her. Wolves don't stop. Wolves don't forgive. Her thoughts fracture as she runs, panic clawing at her mind. Don't shift, not here, not now. If she does, if she lets the silver flame take over, they'll know. They'll see her for what she really is. More than human, more than wolf. Something packs whisper about and destroy when they're afraid. Branches snap behind her, footsteps pound through the snow, fast and certain. They're gaining on her. Then the ground drops away. She skids to a stop just in time, boots sliding toward the edge of something ancient. Crumbling stone half buried in snow, a ruin or a cliff, she can't tell which. Cold air rushes up from below, carrying the weight of forgotten time. One wrong step and she's gone. One step back and she's caught. She stands there, shaking, blood dripping into the snow, and silver light flickering beneath her skin like a dying star, trapped between the past and whatever's coming for her. And if you love stories where power is feared before it's understood, welcome to Wide Moon Narratives. Subscribe and run with us beneath the moon. The forest goes quiet in a way that feels wrong, not peaceful, subdued, like something vast has just stepped into the room and everything else has learned to hold its breath. She feels it before she sees him. A pressure in the air, a weight that settles low in her chest and makes her silver flame recoil, not in fear, but in recognition. Her instincts scream danger, yet something deeper, older, urges stillness. Then he steps out of the storm. He doesn't rush, doesn't run. Snow clings to his dark coat and shoulders, but the wind seems to bend around him instead of cutting through. On his boots sink into the ice with deliberate calm, every step measured, controlled. Power rolls off him without effort, raw, alpha dominance that doesn't need to be announced to be felt. The howls behind her falter, branches stop snapping. The chase hesitates. His eyes find her instantly, sharp and assessing, glowing faintly amber in the dark. When he speaks, his voice is low, steady, and devastatingly calm. Lyra. Her name hits harder than the cold. She stiffens, fingers curling as if she might fight, or flee, or finally lose control. Don't come any closer, she warns, even as her knees threaten to give out. Blood loss makes the world tilt. Fear keeps her standing. I'm not here to hurt you, he says. Not soft, not comforting, just honest. That alone makes her distrust him more. He glances past her. nostrils flaring as the scent of her blood and fear reaches him fully. His jaw tightens. "You've been running a long way." "You've been following me," she snaps. "Yes." No denial, no apology. The answer should terrify her. Somehow it doesn't as much as it should. The forest erupts behind them, wolves breaking cover, eyes burning, bodies surging forward with hunger and certainty. Before she can react, he moves. It's not flashy, not loud, it's brutal. He shifts mid-stride, bone and muscle snapping into something massive and lethal, silver-white fur streaked with shadow. The impact of his charge sends one wolf flying. Another never gets back up. The fight is fast, efficient, merciless, no wasted motion, no roar of triumph, just dominance asserting itself until the snow is stained dark and the survivors retreat, tails tucked, our fear overriding bloodlust. When he turns back, human again, the storm seems smaller around him. "You shouldn't be alone," he says. "I didn't ask for your help." "No," he agrees. His gaze lingers on her wound, on the silver glow barely contained beneath her skin. "But others are hunting the same thing I am." Her pulse spikes. "And what is that?" He meets her eyes, something dangerous and conflicted flashing through his expression. Possessive, protective, angry. "You," he says, "and whatever you're becoming." The air between them tightens, charged with mistrust and something far more unsettling. Attraction sparks where fear should live. She hates it. She feels it anyway. Far off, another howl echoes. Different, stronger. His attention snaps toward the sound, and jealousy flickers through his aura like a warning flame. "We don't have much time," he says. "And whether you trust me or not, you're already in the middle of a war." They don't stop running for long, but when they do, the silence presses in harder than the storm ever did. They take shelter beneath a split ridge of stone, half buried by snow and time. The wind can't quite reach them here. The cold still does. Lyra sinks against the rock, breath shaking, blood soaking through stiff fabric. KLNG kneels a careful distance away, close enough to guard, far enough not to corner her. He tears cloth without asking, binds the wound with practiced hands. He doesn't touch her skin more than necessary. That restraint unsettles her more than force ever could. As the pain dulls, memory sharpens. Exile wasn't loud, that's what still hurts the most. No screaming, no battle. Just a circle of wolves who wouldn't meet her eyes. Elders who spoke in calm voices while fear soaked every word. Her name spoken like a warning. The mark burned into her shoulder while she bit down on her own scream. Silver flame clawing to get out, to protect, to destroy. Too dangerous, unnatural, cursed. They said her bloodline was forbidden, older than the pack's, tainted by fire that didn't belong to wolves. They said her shifts were unstable because she refused to submit, because she questioned, because she didn't bow. They said one day she would lose control and burn them all. So they sent her away before they had to be right. Loneliness followed her like a shadow after that. Hunger. Cold. The constant fear of sleeping too deeply and waking up a monster. Every time the silver flame stirred under her skin, now she clenched her teeth and forced it down, terrified of what would happen if she let it rise. Alphas were the worst of it, their dominance, their rules, their need to own what they couldn't understand. She learned to avoid them, learned that power like theirs always came with a cage, which is why this one confuses her. KLNG doesn't ask for her story, doesn't demand obedience, doesn't look at her like a weapon waiting to be claimed. When her flame flickers, he doesn't flinch. When she pulls away, he lets her. His attention stays outward, listening, guarding, watching the dark, like her safety is a given, not a bargain. "You don't smell afraid of yourself," he says quietly, breaking the silence. Her laugh is soft and broken. "Then you don't know me." "I know what fear smells like," he replies. "And that's not it." She studies him then. Really looks. The the scars he doesn't hide, the weight he carries without complaint, the way his power sits contained, disciplined, like a blade kept sharp by choice. It scares her how much she wants to believe him. Trust would be easier than survival, and far more dangerous. Still, when he says, "You're not cursed," something inside her aches like a wound finally touched. And for the first time since exile, she allows herself to wonder, quietly, painfully, what redemption might cost. They reach the place just before dawn, when the night is thinning, but not yet ready to let go. The forest changes as they cross an unseen threshold. Snow gives way to bare earth, dark and warm beneath Lyra's boots. The air hums, not loud, not violent, but aware. Ancient. The trees bend inward, their branches forming a natural arch, and beyond it waits the grove, and stone pillars half swallowed by roots. A moon altar carved with symbols so old their meaning presses into the bones rather than the mind. Lyra feels it before she steps forward. The silver flame surges. It doesn't flicker this time. It roars beneath her skin, hot and sharp, forcing a gasp from her lungs. Light spills from her veins in thin fractures, tracing her arms, her throat, the mark burned into her shoulder. The altar responds immediately. Runes ignite one by one, bathing the grove in pale fire. The ground trembles, not in warning, but recognition. KLNG moves without thinking, hand hovering near her back, ready to steady her, ready to pull her away if this place turns cruel. But it doesn't. It opens. Voices rise, not spoken aloud, not fully inside her head. They move through her like breath. The one with the mark. Child of the flame. She staggers as images crash through her. A crown split by blood. A queen falling beneath silver fire. Wolves kneeling in ash and moonlight. The balance of the world tipping, cracking, waiting. Balance, or annihilation. Lyra shakes her head, panic clawing up her spine. "No," she whispers. "I don't want this. I can't." The flame answers anyway, flaring brighter, showing her truth without mercy. The queen's death isn't just history. It's a wound that never healed, a power stolen, a throne corrupted, and her blood, her cursed, forbidden blood, is tied to it, not as punishment, as a consequence, as a choice. Her knees hit the earth. She presses her palms into the soil like it might ground her, anchoring her to something small and human. "They were right," she breathes. "I destroy things. I won't save them." KLNG kneels in front of her, and finally breaking the distance. His voice is low, steady but strained. "You haven't destroyed anything here." "Yet," she snaps, tears burning. "This power, it doesn't ask. It takes." He looks at the altar, at the fire, at her. Awe and fear war in his eyes, not of her, but for her. He knows what pacts do to prophecies. He knows how easily destiny becomes a leash. Still, when he speaks, there's no command in it, only the truth. Every monster I've known never questioned the damage they caused. The grove grows quiet again, as if listening. Lyra lifts her head, breath shaking, silver light reflecting in her eyes. Destiny presses close now, heavy and unavoidable. And for the first time, she understands the real terror isn't the power itself. It's deciding what she's willing to become when the world demands its due. The grove doesn't shatter all at once. It fractures the way trust does, quietly, then everywhere. The first sign is the air tightening, magic pulling sharp like a held breath. The runes flicker. The silver flame recoils under Lyra's skin, not in fear, but in warning. KLNG feels it too. His spine stiffens, head lifting as a foreign dominance presses against the borders of the sacred ground. Then footsteps. Many of them. Wolves emerge from the tree line, forming a loose ring around the altar. Their eyes glow with allegiance not to the moon, but to something older and darker. At their center stands a rival alpha, his presence rigid, ceremonial, wrapped in the authority of the old throne. His gaze locks on Lyra like a blade finding its mark. "So," he says, and voice echoing too loud in a place meant for whispers. The flame walks freely at last. Behind him, shadows peel away from the rocks. Not wolves, not fully beasts either. Shapes bound by blood magic, their forms stitched together by something that should have died with the queen. They move like smoke with teeth, snarling low, hungry for the power humming in Lyra's veins. Accusations strike faster than claws. She was there the night the queen fell. The silver flame burned the crown. Her blood broke the balance. Lyra feels each word land like a hand around her throat. Memory surges, fire out of control, screams, a body collapsing into ash. She doesn't know what truly happened that night, only that she ran, only that the world decided guilt was easier than truth. KLNG steps forward, teeth bared, dominance rolling off him in waves. This is sacred ground. The rival alpha doesn't blink. So is the queen. The first blow comes without warning. A shadow beast lunges. KLNG meets it head-on, the impact cracking stone, his roar shaking the grove awake. Wolves surge, magic explodes. The altar screams as power tears through it sideways, wild and furious. Lyra stands frozen for half a heartbeat, then moves. Instinct drags the flame up her spine, ready to answer violence with ruin. But voices rise over the chaos, sharp and unanimous. "Get her out of here. She doesn't belong. She'll doom us all." Hands grab her arms, not gentle, not cruel. Afraid. Someone shoves her back toward the tree line. "Leave," they snarl, "before it's too late." She turns to KLNG. He's surrounded now, blood at his temple, eyes burning gold. The rival alpha's voice cuts through everything. "This ends now. Choose." The words hit harder than any strike. "Your pack," the alpha says, "or her." Time stretches thin. Lyra already knows how this story usually goes. She steps back, heart splitting open, forcing herself to make the choice for him. Survival has always meant leaving first. Her voice shakes, but it doesn't break. "Don't." KLNG looks at her, and for a moment the entire world holds its breath. She turns and runs, not in fear, in fury, in promise. As the forest swallows her, the silver flame steadies for the first time, not wild, not pleading, focused. This isn't a retreat, it's a vow. The cave breathes around them, slow and ancient like it's listening. Firelight paints the stone walls in warm, trembling gold, chasing away the worst of the cold, but not the weight of what was left behind. Lyra sits with her back against the rock, knees pulled close, hands shaking as the silver flame finally settles into a low, exhausted hum beneath her skin. Every muscle aches. Every breath still feels borrowed. KLNG is across from her at first, giving her space. He doesn't say out loud, but offers anyway. He moves carefully, like a man who knows how easily trust fractures. When he finally comes closer, it's not to command or corner, just to kneel and press a cloth to the gash at her side, his touch steady, almost reverent. She flinches. Old reflex. Old pain. He pauses immediately. "Tell me if it hurts," he says, voice rough, stripped of authority. That alone cracks something open. Silence stretches, thick but not uncomfortable. The fire pops softly. Outside, the storm has faded to a distant whisper, as if the world itself is holding back. "I didn't follow you to cage you," KLNG says at last. "And I didn't hesitate back there because I doubted you." Lyra doesn't look at him. Then why does it feel like everyone who gets close to me ends up choosing something else? The words slip out before she can stop them. His hand stills. For a moment she thinks he won't answer. Then he exhales, slow and heavy, like he's opening a door he's kept barred for years. "I had a mate once," he says, "before the crown, before the blood." Lyra's breath catches. "She was killed because I trusted the wrong wolves. My own pack turned on her when power became more valuable than loyalty." His jaw tightens, pain flickering bare and unguarded. The crown was never a prize. It was a sentence. She finally looks at him then, and sees not an alpha, not a weapon, but a man shaped by loss, standing upright only because he refuses to bend. My fear, Lyra whispers, voice breaking, is that they're right, that one day I'll lose control and become the thing they're already running from. KLNG reaches out, not to pull her closer, just to rest his forehead against hers. The contact is electric, grounding, terrifying in its gentleness. I see you, he says quietly, all of you, the fire, the fear, the choice you keep making is not to burn the world. The space between their mouths narrows, breath mingles, the moment teeters, fragile, aching, real. They don't kiss, not yet. Because some bonds are forged, the truth doesn't arrive like a scream. It arrives like a knife slid between ribs, quiet, precise, devastating. The council chamber is packed when it happens, stone walls humming with tension, torches burning low as if the fire itself is afraid. Lyra feels it before she hears it, the shift in the air, the way eyes stop seeing her and start measuring her. KLNG stands at her side, close enough that she can feel the heat of him, steady enough that she almost believes this moment might pass them by. Then the rival alpha steps forward. His voice cuts clean through the hall. Calm, confidence, cruel. He murdered the queen. The words echo, bounce, settle into the bones of everyone listening. Lyra turns slowly, disbelief pounding through her chest. The room erupts, gasps, snarls, shock rippling like a wave. The alpha continues, savoring every second. He speaks of blood rites performed under a black moon, of a crown soaked in betrayal, of immortality stolen, not earned. He used her, the alpha says, pointing at Lyra now. Her flame, her cursed blood, that power made him indestructible. The prophecy twists in real time, reshaped into something ugly and convenient. Heads nod. Fear sharpens into hatred. Lyra feels the room turn on her. Monster. Weapon. Abomination. The council rises as one, sentences already written in their eyes. KLNG doesn't speak. That silence hurts more than any accusation. Lyra looks at him, really looks, and sees the war behind his eyes. Guilt, regret, something darker, something unspoken. For half a heartbeat, hope flickers. For half a heartbeat, she believes he will choose her. He hesitates, and the floor drops out from under her. The rival alpha smiles. The crowd surges forward. Something inside Lyra snaps, not loudly, not violently at first, just a clean internal break. The silver flame roars awake, no longer contained, no longer careful. Light bleeds from her skin, scorching runes into stone, forcing the crowd back with raw, undeniable power. The chamber shakes, torches explode, shadows flee. Her voice carries without effort. I will not be your sacrifice. The flame rises higher, answering her rage, her heartbreak, her clarity. Ancestors whisper, the world listens. KLNG steps forward at last, torn between the crown and the woman burning before him. And Lyra knows, whatever he chooses now will change everything, because the fire has seen the truth, and it will never go back to sleep. The hall cannot hold what she becomes. Lyra steps forward as the enemy closes in, as claws scrape stone and fear fractures into chaos. The rival alpha raises his voice again, trying to command the room, trying to reclaim control, but the sound dies in his throat. The silver flame surges outward, no longer a warning spark beneath her skin, no longer something borrowed or restrained. It answers her fully now, vast and alive, wrapping her spine, her ribs, her breath. She stops running from it. She opens herself and lets it in. The world responds. The ground shudders beneath their feet, a deep ancient tremor rolling through the chamber, as if the earth itself has been waiting for permission. Cracks race across the floor, glowing with molten light. The ruins embedded in the mountain walls awaken, old stones lifting, shifting, remembering what they were built to witness. This place was never meant for judgment, it was meant for ascension. Voices rise, not from the crowd, but from everywhere else. Ancestors, mothers and warriors and kings, long turned to dust. They do not command her, they recognize her. Their presence steadies the fire, sharpens it, teaches it how to breathe without destroying everything it touches. Lyra lifts her head. Her fear is gone. In its place stands something quieter, colder, certain. The rival Alpha lunges, desperation cracking his composure at last, shadows writhing around him like chains he thinks are weapons. They snap apart the moment they touch her flame. The silver light burns clean, not wild, not cruel. It strips lies from flesh and magic alike. The truth howls as it is exposed. She doesn't scream, she doesn't threaten. She speaks. "I am not your sacrifice." The words land heavier than any blow. The flame answers, flaring high enough to force the enemy back, high enough to make even immortality hesitate. KLNG stands at the edge of it all, caught between awe and reckoning, his power dim beside hers for the first time. And he understands now. This was never about what he took. It was about what she would choose to become. The standoff locks into place. Silence stretches, thick and electric. The enemy sees it too. This power cannot be stolen, cannot be bent. It exists only by her consent. Lyra lowers her hand slightly. The earth stills, listening. She hasn't destroyed the world. She has claimed it, on her terms. The fire settles, not gone, just breathing now, like a heart that has learned its own rhythm. Ash drifts through the ruined hall, soft as snow, and every wolf standing there knows the same truth at once. The world did not end tonight. It changed, and change is always what people fear most. Lyra stands in the center of it, shoulders squared, hands steady, silver light fading into her skin like it belongs there, because it does. Her chest rises and falls, now not with panic anymore, but with something heavier. Awareness. She feels every stare on her back, every thought sharpened by doubt or awe. Some look at her like she's a miracle, others like she's a warning carved into flesh. Derek, KLNG, doesn't move toward her, not yet. He watches her the way someone watches a storm after it passes, knowing it could return, knowing it chose not to destroy him. His jaw is tight, eyes dark with too many emotions layered together. Guilt, pride, fear, something dangerously close to love. He understands now that standing beside her will cost him everything he once thought power meant. And the pack, the council, the wolves who shouted for her blood minutes ago, they hesitate. They always do, when faced with something that refuses to fit into old rules. They whisper her name like a prayer or a curse. They wonder if strength like hers can ever belong to someone who still feels pain, still doubts, still cares. So the question hangs there, heavy and unavoidable, drifting through the smoke and into the quiet spaces of the heart. Would you have chosen her, or feared her too? When the ground shook and the flame rose, would you have seen a protector, or only the threat of being small again? Would you have stood your ground, reached out your hand, trusted that power does not erase humanity? Or would you have stepped back, hiding behind tradition and terror, calling it wisdom? Is she a hero, or just a girl cursed with too much fire? A girl who was hunted, a girl who was told she was wrong for surviving, a girl who learned that love doesn't always come with safety, but still chose not to burn the world for what it did to her. The silence stretches, the choice remains. And if this story lit something inside you, hope, fear, longing, or the courage to stand where others run, subscribe to Wide Moon Narratives. Because here, we tell tales that burn. The ruins settle into an uneasy quiet, the kind of silence that presses against your chest and makes each heartbeat feel like an accusation. Smoke curls lazily from the cracked stones, curling toward a sky still heavy with storm clouds, and the wind carries the scent of scorched earth, wet fur, and something older, something ancient stirring beneath the ground. Lyra's silver flame has faded into the warmth of her skin, but the echo of its power lingers like a heartbeat in the shadows, a warning and a promise all at once. Derek stands a few paces away, eyes scanning the horizon, every muscle taut like a bowstring ready to snap. There's relief there, yes, but also calculation, suspicion, and an unspoken fear that this night, this victory, is only temporary. He doesn't take a step toward her, not yet, because the world outside these ruins is still full of predators and whispers. The pack murmurs nervously behind them, some daring to look at Lyra as if she might vanish into smoke, others tightening their fists, balancing awe and terror. Then the ground beneath them shudders, small at first, like a warning tremor, and Lyra freezes. Every instinct honed through months of exile and flight screams at her. Something is coming. Not from above, not from the ruins themselves, but from beneath, from the deep shadows that have been patient, biding their time. A voice rises, low, sibilant, or impossible to place, a sound that is felt more than heard. She is not the only one, it whispers, curling through the air like smoke and ice, threading through the pack, piercing every mind with a chill. Lyra's pulse spikes, silver fire flickering faintly beneath her skin again, betraying the fear she refuses to speak aloud. Derek's eyes narrow, lips pressed into a hard line, but there is something in his gaze, recognition, dread, and a spark of understanding that the real war has only begun. Another tremor, sharper, shaking stones loose, and then the voice, closer now, colder, impossible to ignore. The true alpha hasn't risen, yet. Lyra clenches her fists, a mixture of fury, defiance, and raw determination thrumming through her. Her heart hammers. The future is uncertain, the world is dangerous, and the shadow of what's to come stretches long across the land. Somewhere in the dark, others watch, others wait, and the story, her story, is far from over. Wide moon narratives will return with the next chapter. Run with us beneath the moon, because the hunt has only just begun. Lyra stands atop the scorched ruins, the silver glow of her power now steady and unwavering beneath the moonlight. The echoes of the past, the betrayals, the hunts, the whispered prophecies, linger like shadows, but they no longer bind her. She is no longer the hunted, no longer the exile. Every scar, every hesitation has forged her into something stronger, something unstoppable. Derek steps beside her, a quiet anchor in the aftermath of chaos. Their connection, once tangled with mistrust and fear, has been tempered in fire and blood. He doesn't need to say he trusts her. The look in his eyes, the subtle tension of his hand brushing hers, speaks louder than words. She, in turn, sees him not just as the alpha who protected her, but as the man who, like her, has been shaped by loss, betrayal, and the heavyweight of destiny. The world around them trembles still, as if acknowledging that balance has been restored, but only temporarily. The shadows linger, and new threats wait in the corners of the forests and the hearts of men and beasts alike. Yet, Lyra feels a clarity she has never known. Her power is hers to command, not to curse, and her choices will shape what comes next. She is the child of fire, the one with the mark, and now she claims her place in a world that once tried to destroy her. As they turn toward the moonlit horizon, side by side, and there is a sense of quiet defiance and hope. The battle is over for now, but the story of their love, their power, and the destiny that binds them is far from finished. And beneath the endless sky, with the wind carrying the whispers of ancestors and the faint glow of silver flame, Lyra finally feels the truth she has been running toward all her life. She is no longer a pawn, no longer afraid. She is her own force, and nothing can break,